Review, edit, and approve articles on the JAE website, you'll first need to log in. To do so, you visit the website, enter a slash, and the word manager. Here, you can enter the username and password you were provided. Once you've logged in, you'll be taken to what we call the manager dashboard. You'll see here in the center an expandable list of the articles in the most recent issues of each of the languages we have on the website. And with each article, you see we have the option to view, to edit, and to approve. In this case, you'll see none of these are approved. Now you can always return to the screen by clicking this logo, or if you've edited an article, you can use the close button to return to this dashboard. Now to edit articles, there's two options. You can simply click the edit button, which will take you to the editing interface, or if you prefer, you can use the view option, which will show the page on the front end of the website, and you can use this edit this page button here at the top left. And when you click on this, you'll see the exact same interface as an overlay, and were you to make changes and click save and then close this, you would see those changes automatically applied to the page you're currently editing. Regardless of which way you do it, the editing functions are quite straightforward. This is very much like a word processor. You'll see we've got some very standard tools here. We've got a formatting tool, which gives you options to add headers or format headers if needed. We've got the drop cap, ignore these image formats, and you've got a superscript tool. Outside of that, you've got bold and italic, you've got a bulleted list and a numbered list. You can pretty much ignore these, and the rest of these tools, except for this one here, I'm going to ask you pretty much to ignore, since most of the formatting will be done and your changes should be quite minor. I'll run through very quickly the process for editing, but the first thing I want to do is point out some of the pitfalls. So let's close this article, and we're going to take a look at a different one that I know has more challenging formatting. So the way HTML works, and basically all of this is a way to format and produce HTML in the back end that you don't want to mess with. The way each of these elements works is that they are blocks of HTML, meaning that this content here is inside of a paragraph block, and this content here is inside of a heading block. The reason I mention that, blocks are controlled by a hard return. And what I mean by that is if I were to enter my cursor here at the end of this paragraph and hit a return and start typing, you'll see it is formatted exactly as the paragraph before it. Now, depending on your browser, you may or may not be able to delete a paragraph you enter. Let me give you an example here. So if I enter some text here and I just hold down this delete key, you'll see I'm not actually deleting the paragraph. Whereas if I triple click here and delete, I can get rid of the paragraph, or if I put my cursor here and hit the back delete key, I can get rid of the paragraph. Again, a hard return is very important. If I come to the beginning of this paragraph and delete it, you'll see it doesn't work as it should. But if I come here and hit a return or hit a back delete, you'll see now I've entered this text into the same block as this heading. So now it's all a heading text. If I hit hard return, this is all formatted incorrectly. Okay, so just a reminder, when you're working with HTML content, everything is a block. And when you use hard returns, you're selecting or creating new blocks, and using delete will bind blocks together, applying the format of one block to all of the text that you've just back deleted. So you can see there's problems there. The reason I mention all of this is when you're editing content, I would encourage you to simply select the text you need to edit and edit this text as needed. In other words, only apply edits to very specific elements within the content, only to specific blocks. And I would also discourage you from copying and pasting in from Microsoft Word or from any other word processor, because that will bring in some unnecessary markup we don't want to deal with. The purpose of this interface is to allow you to make small text edits, not to create large amounts of content or to alter large amounts of content. If that's going to be necessary, to ask you that you send the content to me and let us take care of the formatting on the website. But for small edits, and let's close this and return to it so we don't get these changes mistakenly saved. To make small edits, it's a very simple thing. Again, I can come here and insert my cursor anywhere and type. Or I can select and delete and type. And you can make those changes as you need to. And once you're done and you're confident that the content is correct, you simply click the Save button. Now I want to demonstrate a couple things here. If you select Type and you apply your list, you're going to see the list format will automatically be put in place either way. And also obviously your bold and italic will work as expected. Now the tool that's probably going to be less intuitive for you is this link tool, and this one will probably come in quite handy in a lot of circumstances. When we copy and paste in content from some of your Microsoft Word documents, the links don't always come through properly. And you may have text in here that's not showing up as a link that you want to be linked to an HTML resource, either a website outside the site or another page within the site. So to make those links or to edit or create those links, there's a couple things you can do. Assuming that type is already in place, and let's just, for instance, put some in here. Link text here, give you that as one example, and we're going to put an actual URL as well. And I'm going to show you different things here as a result of the fact that many URLs come in as super long strings of text that can be cumbersome on the website. Let's say you had link text and you had a URL. I don't need the URL in my text. I want this to be the link, because often, as I've mentioned, these URLs can be extremely long and they can wrap to multiple lines in smaller screens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this URL and I'm going to cut it into my pasteboard, and I'm going to select this text. And then I'm going to click on my link tool and I'm going to say insert link. Then I'm going to paste my URL here. Now you could just as well type the URL in here if you prefer. Regardless, this URL is where this link will point to, and this URL refers to a web page outside of our website. And this is the text, of course, that I selected. And then I will insert that link. This is now a hyperlink, and were I to save this document on the front end, this would be a link to the URL we've defined. Now, important to note, there is a different process for linking within the website. Let's say, for instance, I wanted this text to link to another article in the same issue or in a different issue. I'm going to click on Edit here, and instead of putting in a URL, I'm going to click on the Resource tab. And here I could enter a title. And as I enter the title, you see the search field will bring up a list of resources within the website that match the search key I have here. I could find the one I want and simply click it, and the system will automatically enter the ID here. And when I click the edit, this will now link to that resource within the website. So you can do this to any text. You select any text you want, click your link tool, insert link, type or copy in the URL here, and insert it. And again, in certain cases, and maybe here we have in our footnotes, we might find an example. For instance here, this is a long link. Some of these can be much, much longer than this. In this case, in your footnotes, you probably want to leave the URL in as a reference. But if you had a long string of text like this, and let's just copy that here and paste it inside. We're going to unlink this for the time being. If you had this long string URL inside of your text, it'd be much better to simply cut that into your pasteboard, say click here, or some other text that you want to use. Select that text, use your link tool, insert the link, and paste the URL here. So you have taken a very long string of text and made it very short, but it still performs the same purpose. So that's how you manage links, and the rest of the formatting should remain exactly as is. Again, if you want to make changes, simply select the content or insert your cursor into the content where you need to make the changes and type into that spot, or again, select delete and type into that spot. As long as you don't hit return, or as long as you hit return only between common block formats, you're fine. Again, here I could keep typing and my formatting is going to be the same because I'm within the same block. But again, just one more demonstration where I had to come up here and hit return. I may or may not, in this case I did, but in some cases I may not, and worse, if I hit a back delete and I'm combining two blocks, I will get the formatting of the first block applied to both sets of content. So when you're editing, please be very careful to ensure you're only editing the content you need to. Either insert your cursor inside the text or select the text. And in very rare cases, it might be okay to copy and paste. But again, if you've got a lot of content to insert, I'd ask that you send those content changes to us and we'll make them for you. Once you've completed all of your edits, you can simply click the Save button. And once you've saved, you can return. I'm going to cancel this. You can return to your dashboard And then once an article is ready for approval, you simply need to click this box, and you'll see it goes from a red X to a green check mark. Now this is a toggle switch, so if you click one by mistake, simply click it again and it will mark as unapproved. So you can go through each one of these articles as needed to, view, edit, and once you've finished, approve. And once they're all approved, let us know that the issue has been completed, and we will take care of getting it published both to the website and to the app. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch by email. I'll be happy to answer questions as they come. Thanks.